Please check that the flight level is set correctly. Please check that the landing altitude is set correctly. I will only perform pilot monitoring actions. Ready for pre-flight procedure. I will only announce the SOP actions.
Flight slow. Pull up. Wind shear. Wind shear. Wind shear.
Good morning, everybody. Sorry I'm late, but I had to step away from the PC just for my own sanity for a few minutes. Gremlins. We'll try our best to get this flight through.
Pre-flight procedure complete. I'm ready for pre-flight checklist.
Right, I think I'm ready to go. So, hope you're going to enjoy the flight with me. This is a flight on request from one of the users from yesterday. Not sure if he's going to be here. That's irrelevant. At least we've done what we said we'll look at. Oh, there you go. Talking about you just now. Welcome.
Vertical speed. Crossing. Maintain. Monitor vertical speed. TCAS test. Pass.
Exactly, Krister. Yeah, that's one of the reasons I just walked away a little bit this morning. I'll do my own thing. I'm not online. I'm here all alone, and I'm just going to do what is right for me. Anyway, so let's get cracking. Before start procedure. Come on. Before start procedure. Morning, Steve.
Before start procedure. Before start procedure complete. Ready for before start checklist.
Morning, Geert. Goeiemorgen. Right, I think we got that. Start number 2 engine. Don't know what happened. You know, I've got this crazy conspiracy theory. I think that as Microsoft gets to replacing something, they start to make life more difficult on the old system. You know, I've been wondering about it for a long time. The fact that this speech recognition is just all of a sudden not the way it used to work anymore, it just makes me really wonder, man. Start number 2 engine. I'm looking at it. It's seeing what I'm saying, and there's just no response going through. So strange. Weird, man, weird. So anyway, I wonder how far we are from the new system. Don't know, but Janie said once they get the SDK, they can look at it. So we'll keep the voice. We won't lose it too long. Speaking of which, let me see if there's any news from him about the update.
25N2.
That I can see, eh? It was his birthday yesterday, so I hope he had a good day. I did congratulate him then.
Starter cutout.
Start number 1 engine.
Starting number 1 engine. (25N2).
Morning, Rob.
Starter cutout. Engine start procedure complete.
Before taxi procedure.
Before
Morning,
taxi
Rob.
procedure. Ready for before taxi procedure. Before taxi procedure complete. I am ready for before taxi checklist.
Right, let's go.
Taxi lights on. Horizontal stabilizer trimmer not set for takeoff. Cabin crew, take your seats, prepare for takeoff.
Before takeoff procedure.
Before takeoff procedure. Before takeoff procedure complete. Ready for before takeoff checklist.
Approaching 3, 5.
Alright, we've got the flaps 5 in the green light. Everything else is set up, so I'm happy. Sorry guys. Try and mute next time.
3, 5, right.
Toga, let's go.
Stabilized. Takeoff thrust set. knots. Throttle hold. V1. Rotate. Positive rate.
There we go. Forgot to check all my AutoGen, why that's not working, damn it. It's funny, it does work in places. Yesterday on the mountains I saw the trees and everything. Look, there's trees there. Oh, it's like, you know what I don't see? It's the buildings. The 3D buildings. Okay, well, there should be trees here as well, I guess, but is it so weird? Only shows certain places. That's strange. I wonder if there isn't pieces of Simheaven still active. I must actually move it out of the folder. Maybe that's it. Maybe that is it. I'll try it afterwards. Weird, I just thought about that. Weird. Anyway, how do you like the temperature here? It's nice, warm. And we're flying to a warmer place. We're going to land at 34 degrees Celsius.
Flaps up and set.
Oh goodness, I made a mistake. There is
Transition.
one between 7,000 and 8,000 restriction. an altitude restriction just ahead. Damn it. You can't go to flight level if there's an altitude restriction. I'm not familiar with this area, so sorry. I had to go back to the chart and check quickly. Somewhere right there, just after the turn. Probably that one. The next one is a flight level. Flight level restriction. So while we're sitting waiting for things to happen, let me quickly give you some feedback. After yesterday's issues there in Paro, I actually used some of my saved flights and I tried over and over and over again. I'm not lying, I didn't count them, but it felt like about the 10th time I actually got it right. I figured the trick out. And I did 2 very, very excellent landings to the point where I felt I've accomplished the actual approach and landing. I then spoke with Zibo. It's been something that's been happening for a while now. When you recall a saved flight, the flaps positions are not set. Okay, so let me rephrase that. Let me explain nicely. The aircraft knows which flap position it should go to, but it always starts from 0, and then while it's busy, you know, your first couple of seconds that it's busy getting you ready for this flight and all. Right after you've spot, you've now got control and all that. First couple of seconds, the flaps then starts to travel, and then it goes and sits where it needs to go. But in that 10, 15, 20 second window, I mean, you're literally riding a rodeo horse sometimes, okay? And so I asked him, you know, is it possible? And he said, he'll look at it. You know, let's see, maybe he gets it right, maybe it works. I'll be very grateful, and I know of at least one other user that will be very exquisitely happy, you know, if we can do that. But I just wanted to give you the feedback, because it's funny, I'm spawning there in the mountains and this thing just nosedives because it's too slow, and it's waiting for the flaps to set, and so let's hope Zibo can get it working. I'll be so pleased. Hello, Alex. Hello, Jet Power. Now, Christer, my big story was too much weight, huh? That then caused too much speed. Once I got it down to 145 knots, which was my VREF plus 5, it became easy. It's not that difficult, but you've got to understand the line that you need to fly, when you need to see the runway, and then how to get to it. It just took a good couple of tries, but I'm going to go practice it a little bit more, and then I'll show you guys. Of course, yes, it's much smaller, and it's got a much what's the slower? Sorry, my English went for a second. It's got a much slower speed. It's much more controllable, much more usable. So yeah. Oh, I just disconnected. At that last reach, I just went off the autopilot. I took the throttle and the stick. I just flew it manually from there. I found that to me was the easiest way of doing it, because then I had the control. I could actually keep the aircraft from overspeeding. I could actually increase my turn radius. So what I did was I went straight across the ridge, and I flew as far as possible forward towards the next mountain, the ridge there. Then I turned, and then I came back almost all the way. So I made like S movements, you know, to kind of snake my way down. By the time I returned, the very last section of that one ridge, I just turned to the right, and I'm already aligned on that extended runway center line, and I just fly on the diamond, just follow the diamond down, no problem. Obviously just check for the trees and the houses there on the side. And by the way, I did go and buy, against my principles, but I went and bought that scenery. Like I said, there's no upgrade path I saw. But I must admit, I really wanted it, and it looks good, so I did get it, and next time we fly in there, it'll look better. And if Zibo can possibly fix these flaps, I trust he can. You know, it will be so much easier just to spawn and fly straight from there, instead of having to dip down into the valley and recover and then continue on path, you know. So I'm really looking forward to that. Alex, in the Explain org store, there is VQPR for Explain 11 and Explain 12 now scenery. So I just got the Explain 12 scenery. Yes, for Paro, yes. There you go, that scenery. Yeah, it's in Bhutan, in the mountains. Hell of a challenging landing, eh? This is the ridge with the trees and the stuff that you need to come over. So literally I fly to about there, and this is about your center line for the runway, and this is a little hill still over here, so you just got to check it. Yeah, very challenging. Took me like 3 go-arounds, I think. And then I still planted it hard. But once you've practiced, once you know where to turn, what to look out for, it's so much easier. It's not difficult at all. The challenge comes in figuring it out. That's the challenge. Yes, Christer. Yeah, I get it. I get it. You need to look out for that one. Okay, Alex, good luck with that. Well, Mark, the idea in the Zibomod is to use this. Let me show you. Technically, you're correct and you're also wrong, because basically here, you see there, they've got safe flight. So if you are in a normal laminar aircraft, you should be able to do exactly this. You should be able to save your flight, recall it with everything set in place, and then just press the unpause button and go. Technically, you should. Okay. So what Zibo did is, in this load safe flight in here, he's basically used the SDK from Laminar to create his own extended code to match the Zibo with the facility, right? So this should theoretically give you exactly what you're looking for. Well, 90% of what you're looking for in the Zibomod. So the very first flight that you do, you're unfortunately going to have to do the circuit. Then at the point where you want to save the state of the aircraft, you literally just press the save button, like I did just there. Now what I do is I count to 5 and I press the second one, because now I've got two options. So in case one is corrupt, the other one should really work. Okay. Now if I press that button, theoretically it should put me back exactly where I was 5 seconds ago, with everything set up exactly as it made the save. Now we know that there are two problems with that. We know that sometimes it saves a 0-byte file and it crashes your system, and we also know that it sometimes saves an X-Plane 11 or some other format that X-Plane 12 cannot read, and then crashes your aircraft as well. The whole flight just crashes, sometimes to desktop, sometimes just crashes. Right, so we know that that problem is lurking there, and at any random point in time, you can step on it. Again, that's why I make two of these files. Now, what I was referring to earlier is right now it's easy because we don't use flaps. If I recall the flight now, it's going to be easy to re-establish. But if you're on a 10-mile final and you are in landing configuration or close to it already, and you now find that the aircraft is in the air, but the flaps still need to travel from 0 all the way to wherever you had it to get, where you were. That makes it challenging, and this is what I'm hoping that Zibo can figure out, how to make it be in the right position when we reload the flight. So again, you're right, but also not right, and it's not because of you doing something wrong. It's just we obviously know a little bit of the system because we've tested it and, messed around with it a lot. So again, for you to get your scenario, just fly a circuit, press the save button, but do 2 saves, right? Make sure that you do 2 of them, so you know that you've got a better chance of recovering the flight. And then from then on, all you do is you press the green button. So another thing, technically the Zibomod should be able to start its own engines and get going from a safe flight. But what I have noticed, especially, I don't have a potato machine, I've got a large machine, but it's just so much easier for the Zibo to reload the flight when you spawn in with the engines running. So get your engines running. You're just doing yourself a favor. Once the engines is running, it's so much easier to reload, and it will put you exactly back in the place where that safe flight was made, So if we go look at the load flight situation, you see, look, here we've got all the safe flights. There's the level up flights. There's all the Zibo flights. Now, flight number 5, that is my flight that I use at Paro to get myself set again. Anyway, halfway there, maybe 3/4 there. Yeah, that's why I say, Mark, you're like 90%, right? That last 10% would be cool. Now, again, even in saying that, remember, if you click on an airport like this, just click on the airport, there's our runway. If you click 09, you see here, you can set certain things. Let's just see, because you change your location, we will end your flight. No, we don't want to do that. Okay. Final approach. I beg your pardon. There we go. So here you've got the runway. There's final approach. Because you just theoretically clicking that button should give you what you are saying. But again, it's going to be laminar aircraft only. It won't work for the Zibomod, and there will be certain restrictions. So unfortunately, I think the best way of doing it is just to fly that first circuit, save the flight, whether you use this menu, save flight, or whether you use the Zibo menu. I mean, if you're in the Zibo, you have to use the Zibo menu. If you're in a different aircraft, use the laminar one. But from there on, you can spawn anywhere in the world. Click the recall button of that flight, and it'll take you exactly onto your point where you saved the flight, 10 nautical miles out with whatever. I hear what you're saying, and you've got a very valid point there, but I think what you're talking about now, when it comes to laminar, is probably more related to the instructor station than it is related. See, here's your instructor station. If you use your instructor station, you can probably set your scenario for a laminar aircraft already. Now that I think about it, sorry, I'm blonde. I'm still waking up. It's early, but this is probably what you're looking for. There's your instructor station. So you choose the aircraft, your location, the weather, the failures, the time, weight, balance, fuel. You can literally put the aircraft where you need it. But this is for laminar only. Trust me. I've had a couple of guys complain he doesn't want to work with a Zibo, and it's very simple. It's not made for the Zibo. The Zibo is way beyond default. So this is one way of doing what you want. Exactly, Christer. If you're in a complex aircraft like the Zibomod, you obviously need to... What's up with that? Saying I've got insufficient fuel. Why? That's interesting. Have I got a failure or what? Something went wrong with my refueling. Luminek. Something went wrong with my refueling. No, it's not the waypoints like yesterday. Christer, this thing was supposed to load. I'll tell you now. I've got my settings to load the fuel on short, and I think that's where the problem comes in. It does not have time to load everything, or it doesn't do it correctly. So I think we need to speak to Zibo about this. This is the second time it's happened to me, where the fuel is incorrectly calculated short. Let me just quickly see, what was it supposed to be? This was supposed to be 7.6. So you can't change it now unless you go to the weights and balance. So what we're just going to do is just up it a little bit. Unfortunately, it's a cheat. I don't like cheating, but whatever. Mark, I like what I hear there. I like what I see. Right, well, it's still not really what I want, right? Okay, that should be a little bit better. Yeah, okay. Sorry for cheating. I really hate cheating in the air, but happens. And you see, I'm so reliant, so trusting in airside services. I didn't realize, I didn't think of checking that it actually loads up everything. I better put that on the list to check. the other day when I went to that real world flight sim company, Simheaven Flight here in Midrand, they have got the instructor station set up there, and all their aircraft are advanced, made by them kind of stuff to comply with legislation and so on and so forth. And you must check the instructor station. That is so elaborate, so extensive. It is to dream about that. Right, I'm going to start setting up now. Krista is scaring me about the 15 minutes. I think I'm a bit behind, but let's see. Don't want to be too far behind. Good morning, Attila. Yeah, just I'll accept your explanation. We'll write that in the logbook. Gotcha, Krista. 46. 1,700. Ach nee man. Get that clear. Right, this is an RNAV approach, so we don't need anything specific in there. We do have a VOR we can set as a reference. 1143. Okay, Christer. Focus. Request temperature. Yeah, man. I've added a little bit because this is an MDA, not a DA. It's nice to have somebody else fly with us today. I'm just not online, by the way, just for your information. I did not go online today. I'm set. No, Attila, they don't give ETAs. All I do right now is, as I fly, I take screenshots and I then identify the location, which I've just done. And I just share it with Andre.
Ready for descent procedure.
I wonder if you don't get it from here. I haven't really looked at it, Krister, but maybe, I don't want to waste time now. But maybe it's in there and we can have it as part of this. You know, it makes it easier to see it. But because I fly with my desktop charts open all the time, it's easy enough to take a screenshot to show exactly where it is, where I'm flying. I'm trying to take a screenshot to show you what my screen looks like, but it doesn't like to upload it, so let me just save it local. See, this is what my three main screens look like all in one. So this is what I've got in front of me. All right. And so for me, it's easy enough to take a screenshot there and then a screenshot there. This is the broadcasting software. That's all your comments over there. So I literally have it open in front of me exactly as you see it. On screen, you guys obviously only see the middle part. You only see that as being sent until I do a screen capture. So, see, there it's gone. Now you're back to only seeing bits and pieces. Oops. Gilbert, I think that was one of the purposes, but you're going to have to check it and then report back on the forum, because Zibo was speaking there to somebody else, another developer related to that. So you're going to have to go check there.
Approach top of descent.
Just make sure you don't use Linda to set the trim right now. Between me and Eugenie and Zibo, we're trying to figure out what's happening, and then there'll be an update for Linda. Okay, just don't use that. Yeah, I'm going to be at TOD less than a minute. Well, maybe a minute. Christer. Hello, Vaughan. All good in you? No, well, no. This is in meet-up areas and all. Or no. Oh, goodness. What happened, Krister? Why is he blocking the runway? My pleasure, aviation knowledge. I find myself slowly getting back to where I was in 2023. 2024, when it comes to doing streaming and flight simming and the stuff that used to be normal, everything just became abnormal because of real world, real world influences and stuff. And strangely enough, this year just feels like I'm back to normal. It feels like I can actually do more, enjoy myself a little bit more. I don't know, man. Maybe I'm just crazy, but I've got a different feeling about this. And I've already done 2 test flights for and on behalf of guys on the forum, which I used to love doing, to see, let them compare things with me. And now we've done this one. It's cool. I like it. I hope it stays this way for the rest of the year. Yeah, we all are. We are all sitting in anticipation. I mean, to be honest, Zibo went cracking and he started putting all these moving little buttons and things in there, all in anticipation for the weather to come, and it just never came. Now Andre is making his own weather radar, and I'm hoping that there will be some cross-pollination or whatever you want to call it between Andre and Zibo, because maybe Andre is going to be ready to have Zibo integrate the system even before Laminar does.
Approaching
That'll
transition.
be fun. I'm rooting for Andre, telling you.
Transition level. Ready for approach checklist.
Yep. Vaughan, it gives you a different version of the pressurization system that is made to operate when you land and take off above 10,000 foot, basically. Okay, I think it's actually a bit low. I think it's 8,800 or 9,500, something. It's in the ballpark 10,000, okay?
Flight level 100. Landing lights switches on.
Aviation law and legal requirements, and then obviously God created certain requirements for oxygen as well, the higher you go, the less oxygen there is. So there are certain specific aviation laws governing how the air crew and the aircraft must operate when operating above 10,000 foot. Now, when you fly into the mountains, where we went to yesterday, it's not that bad, but in India, there are other places where you physically take into account the, what do they call it now? What on earth do we call it? Such a stupid term. Anyway, you have to take the altitude into context. Oh, density altitude. So density altitude and physical altitude are two different things, right? And then what happens is the aircraft needs to be able to operate there, and that's where this whole thing comes into. So if you're landing below 10,000 foot, you don't need it, you switch it off. If you're landing above 10,000 foot, the aircraft, if you don't switch it on, it's going to have all kinds of bells and whistles and alarms going off, warning you that the pressurization is wrong, the doors won't open. There's a whole bunch of things that can't happen. So you have to switch it on for the operations at high density altitude airports. See, I'm starting to struggle again. In case it bombs out, I'll try reload from here, but then I have to have my safe lights. Vaughn, I used to have it. It used to be a command that you issue in the stream, and then aviation jokes would come up. And it worked very well for like a week or two, and then people just never used the command again. I can't remember what it is and if it's even still on. But it is also something that it came in with a big hit, but like 2 weeks, it was over. The people didn't care for it anymore. Yeah, and it keeps you at 7,000 for a long time. And then you'll see there's the top of descent. That one is a 6,000-foot altitude restriction. The next one is a 4,000, and then you go on to the RNAV approach. Very long. Thank you, Mark. Okay, so because I've got Ian, I can simulate an ILS approach on the on-app. Why not? Let's see. And we can check if that works as well. Nah, it's okay. It's okay. I don't know how well it's going to work because, like I said, I've tried it a few times now. We can do just to humor everybody, but if we have to restart from here, we're a bit low. We might probably end up in the ground before we know it, just because that flaps take so long to do each thing. And I mean, you're going to be totally off balance. So it might work. I don't know. We did it. Let's see. If we have to, we can use it. Sorry, I think what I'm just trying to say is I don't have much confidence in it at this moment.
Thousand to level off.
Radio altimeter.
Ready for landing checklist.
Why is it not arming me? There we go. Speed brake armed.
Cabin crew, take your seats, prepare for landing.
Thousand feet, stabilized, Mr. Perch, altitude set.
Approaching 0.5.
Approaching decision height.
500. Clear to land
500.
runway 05. Minimum.
Minimums. 400. 300. 200. 100. 50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Speed brake up. Reverse unlocked. Auto brake.
We made it. We made it. Nice uphill. Oh.
Knots. Yet.
And there you have it.
Great landing. You are professional.
I cannot recall, and I mean I might be wrong, but I cannot recall ever landing here or taking off in Da Nang. So it's a first for me. Thank you for introducing us aviation knowledge. Thanks for flying with, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. It was actually very nice after yesterday's excitement, just to have a bit of a wee normal flight. After landing procedure.
After landing procedure.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you everybody for joining us. We'll speak with you soon again. You must have fun. Bye-bye everyone.